Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to have you join us this evening. My name is Margie DeH, and I'm a reflexologist and have a practice in Tip City, Ohio. And I'm all about inspiring healthy living around the world. For 25 years, I have been working with patients and my community, and I've been a coach, and I've raised 4 children to be to help inspire as much as they can so they can be the best versions of themselves. So tonight I'm going to kick off with there are 2 startling trends in the world and things that are just changing almost by the day, it seems like, especially recently in the last few months. You know, we see that toxins are just continuing building up all around our community, whether it be from factories, whether it be from even farms. And depending on what farmers and or people are using to grow their crops, you know, things leach into our water systems, things are in the air, just all around us. So it's really important that we do our best job possible to kind of offset some of that. The other part is our food quality is decreasing because we do have to keep longevity of food on our shelves, we have to put preservatives in them. And unfortunately, there is a side effect to that. And that is something that most of us don't realize, but yet we really do want to inspire to help get the foods that are in our bodies as healthy as possible. So we want to keep them as whole as possible. So when you look at, I'm sure most of us, when we go to the grocery store, we get confused. They're like, oh my gosh, there's so many choices. There's so many things, you know, how I discern from all that, it just makes a lot of confusion. And so we just need to just help encourage each other to know the less ingredients, the better, and more whole foods is better. I always like to teach my clients to shop the perimeter because at least most of those things are fresher, whole foods, and they don't have the different preservatives added to them. And so we're going to get a little cleaner type of food in our body.
Hey, Shay.
So what happens in this cycle is a lot of people are looking at, they want to diet or they over exercise. And I can say that for me, I've been a culprit of both of them. And because of that, not getting the results that I'm looking at, because I really do want to keep a body that's going to be sustainable, that's going to be more productive, and looking at how I can be the best version of myself. So what happens for most people is, you know, when we are experience a little bit of excess toxins in our body or excess weight, we have all these impurities. And what we want to do is we want to get to those cells to actually help them get healthier and cleaner. So what we'll do is we'll over exercise, we'll burn a lot of fat, which is great. And we start to get that slimmer kind of feeling. But what happens is because we don't get those cells, as you can see in the top portion of this diagram, healthier, when we do stop or slow down, our body wants to protect us because that excess fat does protect our organs. That is a natural process that our body does. And so not only will the fat come back, but it comes back a lot of times with a vengeance. So what we want to do is properly cleanse our body, and we want to get those cells healthier. So when we start, as you would see here in the bottom portion of this diagram, you'll see where the fat is stored. And then what we do is start eating healthier whole foods so it cleanses the cells and reproduces healthier cells. So not only when we start shedding the fat, we also start shedding all the toxic waste that is in those cells. And guess what? Not only are we able to sustain that healthier looking body, but we don't have the rebound effect. And we also have this look that we get more fit. And that's what I'm excited about. At 57, I want to be, you know, sustainable. I want to be healthier, cleansing cells, and I want to be more fit so that way I can have the most vitality possible for me. Sometimes we are looking at ways that we can grow our food. You know, right now we have issues because we're trying to go to the grocery store. We've seen a less production of some whole foods in our stores because we just are having a hard time getting it in our local grocery store. So one way to solve that is to grow your own food. And I love it that there is a system out there that allows us to grow produce year round. Anything that grows above the ground can be grown in this tower garden. I know for me and our family, just with our 6 kids, you know, we were able, 1 to 2 tower gardens could take care of all of our lettuce and herbs needs for the entire year. And that is great because not only is it helping us grow more whole foods without preservatives, it also has a 30% greater yield. And I love it because we can bring it indoors, because in Ohio, I don't have the option of keeping it outdoors year round. And it uses 90% less space and 98% less water. And let's face it, we know in some parts of the US, we really do have a hard time with the water. So by actually helping the earth, so we're not putting so much stress on our environment, we can actually grow produce and without the less hassle, carbon footprint, and pressure on the earth itself. So it's pretty cool. So one of the things I was able to connect with was something that was called Juice Plus. Juice Plus was a whole plant foods. When I looked at what I could be getting, not only for myself, but for my family and recommend for my patients, look at this list, 45 whole plant foods. Tell me, how many times a week are you eating a mango or a pineapple? Today, I actually went to the grocery store and I was able to get 2 pineapples because they had them on sale. And I got some carrots and I got some blueberries. I didn't see any blackberries. I didn't see bilberries. I never have seen in a store. I don't actually think I've ever seen that. Amaranth, you know, the cherries come in seasonally, but if you look at all of these that, you know, tell me how many times you're actually able to get that much plants in your body. You know, the more plants, the better, and the more color and variety is better. These weren't just plants that were picked just at random. They really were, let's try to get the best bang for our buck, to get the variety of what they can do in our body and how they're going to sustain our health and actually the benefits that they help us with. So, you know, how often do you eat normally? You know, this is something that happens to most people. They eat, they have a spike, and then they have a really low. How many times have you guys gone out to lunch, you go to work, you take a lunch break, you eat, and then all of a sudden you get this little high, and then by the mid-afternoon, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm barely getting through the rest of the workday. You're really having a hard time focusing. Your energy level's not there. It's because the way the food is processed. So what we want to do is keep in that zone of willpower. This lovely lady has this pretty face and she's like, okay, I've got my plan on, I've got my willpower on, and I've got the day that's going to actually help sustain me so I can perform at my peak performance during work hours. And what we want to do is keep that low glycemic food in our system so that we don't have these ups and downs. How do we do that? Well, one of the things that I came across was a product that was complete. It actually has that low glycemic effect, and it has the protein combined with the carbs that we need, but it's such a perfect blend and it's consistent. That's so hard for us to eat the same amount of food every single day the same way, right? How many times have you guys been, you know, going and you have a lunch and you're always having that same consistency? I never have. You know, one day it might be a salad with chicken and some avocado in it or whatever. The next day it might be a sandwich, or next day I might have to work through my lunch hour. So what can I do that would be consistent, that could be healthy, and that actually give me that brain power and also willpower and energy to get through my day? So I want to get plant-based as much as possible. The other thing that I really love is that we can get now omegas from a safe place, that we don't have to worry about the fish. We don't have to worry about the toxicity, and we can keep it all plant-based. So that way our cells are designed to be able to get a plant in our system and get these omegas. Not only just one omega, but this we can actually get the 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And to get that perfect combination at a consistent level is even better. I like it because I don't have to worry about the, the after burping flavor of a fish. And also I know that it's going to be good because we have all the omegas. It's coming from all the plants, and it's good for our heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes. So I'm kind of, taking my health from just, from the plant-based to give my regular basic nutrition. And now I've taken it to a bigger, picture. And then I also got my plant-based where I'm getting my protein too. So it's a perfect combination for everything that is going to help sustain that vitality for my health. So, people are looking for options, and those options is when I get up in the morning, I don't have an appetite. I have a lot of elderly patients of mine that they know they have to eat food with their medications. So typically they might have either a glass of water, a cup of coffee, and or maybe a piece of toast. That's not enough nutrition. So this is one option I was able to give them, that I knew that they could get a complete breakfast with taking those medications. So what about the rest of us that are not on medications, and hopefully we never are on medications? This for me is a quick fix. My husband gets up, I make him a complete, I throw in I can change it up every day. We use vanilla as our primary source of protein, and I might add in a half a banana and a few blueberries, water, ice, and off my husband goes to work. I love it because I can start his day off good and healthy, because he typically doesn't have a big appetite for breakfast. And for me, I like it because I know that I'm getting something full for breakfast. What about you athletes that are out there? How many times have you guys trying to find that perfect blend that's going to help not only build your muscles after that workout? And most of you probably know within a 30 to 45-minute window after your workout is when you want to get nutrition in your system, because it goes to muscle versus fat. Very, very important. When I was coaching track and field and also basketball and volleyball, this was a really big thing that I was really encouraged and inspired all of my athletes. I wanted to make sure, number one, they had replacement for all that muscle breakdown, because when you're working out or you're playing athletics, you're going to have that breakdown, right? So the muscle breaks down. That's what it's supposed to do. But what people forgot to tell most athletes is you need to replace it with good nutrition, so that way it fills in the gap, so that way the muscle can get bigger and actually stronger. So what I saw as a coach, I was starting to see less injury, less sickness on my team, because I knew the girls were eating healthier and I was getting nutrition in their systems, and they could rebound so much quicker. So I love it. And what about you late night snackers? People that like to have your popcorns, your food, all your other little fun things. I like it because if I get that little snack, you can fix that, the little shake, and you don't have to worry about the bad calories, and you don't have to worry about having something that's going to be tearing your body down. And that was one thing I always was teaching my athletes, is like, before you put it in your mouth, think about this. Is it going to build your body up, or is it going to tear your body down? Those were two important factors. And a lot of times they didn't like, having to evaluate that way. But I can tell you that those kids that were very serious and that wanted to go on to collegiate athletics, were the ones seeing the prize, because they were following the law. But not only that, they felt better, they performed better, and they were much, much, much more healthier. So what we want to do is we want to shred the food and toxins and habits that aren't serving us. Sometimes that can be hard. And sometimes a lot of people think, well, why do I want to do that? That doesn't sound fun. I want to have some of my fun things. But what if we took a 10-day period and we did something like that? What if together, we as a group, we looked at some of the things so we could keep each other accountable and just see what we can create in our bodies and how much better we can feel. And hopefully long term, we can see some changes that are going to develop. So when we look at this, we want to add more plants to our diet. We want to drink 1 to 2 shakes a day, plant-based shakes that are going to help build our bodies up. And we want to drink plenty of water. One thing I had a really big breakthrough for me just recently, I've always been a horrible water drinker. So my coach told me what if every time you went to the bathroom, Margie, that you just replaced it? You just replaced it with just drinking the whole water bottle instead of sipping on it, because I was a sipper all day long. But I might be sipping on 16 ounces all day long. That's not enough water. So what I started doing, every time I would go to the bathroom, I would down a glass of water. And then instead of sipping on it, if I had a water break, then I would just down the whole bottle of water. So my 2 to 3 to 4 glasses a day are now turning into minimum of 4 to 5 and 6 and 8 a day. So now I'm finally getting to that point where I'm getting enough in my system, because what it's going to do is help remove toxins from your body. It's going to help give you more energy. And sometimes for some of us that are really struggling with getting rid of that toxin and those waste, it starts to shed some of that fat from us too. So what we're going to do is do that, drink the water. We're going to learn how to breathe again. Go outside, get some air. Even if you're indoors, learn how to take those 10 deep breaths to really get that oxygen running in your body. Get those 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. I know for a lot of people, just by eliminating some of the caffeine or alcohol out of their diet in those 10 days, they said they had the best sleep ever. That's always one of the biggest things. Trying not to eat after 6 p.m. Now, for some of you, you might have professions that's just no way possible. Maybe you work a night shift, or maybe you work a different kind of shift where you get off around 6 o'clock. So it's not going to be possible. Basically, what we're looking at is trying to go at least that 12-hour window where you're fasting. So by the time you stop at the end of the day until the time you get up in the morning, that's where we want to have that window. So if you do have a different type of job that requires you to work a little bit different hours, just kind of look at that as your guideline. And then processed foods, that's kind of a no-brainer. A lot of us know that. I always look at processed foods. It's not really food. It's either it's food or it's processed or it's junk. So there's no in between. And then eliminating during this 10 days, looking at eliminating the dairy and the gluten and the refined sugars. So, some of the common results that we hear from people are they're craving more fruits and veggies. They have a healthier weight. They're recovering better from a workout. I know Kristen, being a trainer, she can tell a difference. Sometimes you almost know as a trainer, the people that are putting in the good foods in their body, you can tell it. You can tell it in their spring in their step. You can tell it how they come back. As a trainer, you can definitely see that. We want to improve that sleep, increase your energy. Overall, we want to increase that mental clarity. If you are working at a place that requires your focus to be right on and spot on, this is something that we want to do, because think about it. Here's your brain. Your brain is like a tree. The trunk is here, and then the roots are in your gut. So everything that we eat is going here. So what do we want to be feeding our brain is what's going in. So that's why we want to really look at the quality of food that's actually going in our system. What I love about the Juice Plus products, the fruits, the vegetables, everything about them, they are researched. And I know for me as a healthcare practitioner, I can't recommend just because a product says it is. I have to look at the research to make sure it's backed up. It's going to support what I'm telling my patients and my clients and my athletes. I want to say, okay, this is what this university is telling you. And if you look at all the different opportunities that it does have to give, you can go deeper. Check out Kristen's website, and it will give you line by line every single thing from cardiovascular to sports nutrition, everything, even to a root canal, what it's going to improve, even that hair, skin, and nails. So maybe if you're not so concerned about what your athletic performance is, or maybe your health is, maybe it's more vanity, it's the way you look. So hey, I like to take it all in. If something can help me in all those areas, I'm all for it. So here's what you get. If you do decide this is something that you want to check out with the Shred 10 journey, this is kind of the products that we're looking at, your fruit, vegetable, berries, your omegas, and your protein. So you've got your micronutrition and you got your macronutrition. We also you'll be receiving a free shred guide. This will kind of guide you through. Now, you're not required to have to study or look into all this. Kristen is going to be the person that's going to guide you through the highlights and share all of these things with you. You're also going to watch a series of different reasons why we do what we do with the Shred 10 by our doctor, Dr. Mitra Ray. She has studied nutrition for a very long time, and knowing that what it's done for her patients and clients that she's recommended, she wants to connect you with that. We'll also add you to a Facebook group if you want to. You don't have to, but this is a great way that you can kind of check out to see what other people are doing. It helps you keep a little more accountable. You don't have to participate. You can just be a silent listener, just watching in, and that's all you want to do. Nobody else has to see it. That's totally cool too. Then we're going to do the shred together. And then from doing that, you're going to have a Shred 10 cookbook that we'll provide for you. So that way, if you guys kind of get stuck, I know my son tonight said, Mom, I need some of those good Juice Plus recipes because I'm kind of getting in that stuck, point. He is a critical care paramedic and also a firefighter. They have to be in their best shape ever because they're rescuing people. So, and he knows the way he eats is directly related to how he performs. He doesn't want to be on the job and somebody needs him for an emergency, and then he starts to get weak or pass out. So this is really important. He sees that value of how nutrition is going to keep him, going well within his job. And then we're going to live it. We can hopefully take as much as we want, as little as we want from the Shred 10 guide and live it out as much as we can. And that way we know that we are supporting our bodies. And then why not get your family involved, your friends involved, and do it together with you? I love sharing this because my belief is if I do the best I can, share it with my community of people that I hang with, if I can stay healthy and I can encourage the people in my network to be healthy, guess what? I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry because they're protecting not only their body from feeling better, but being healthier, building that healthy immunity, making sure that we're being more responsible from the beginning so we don't have to worry about the emergency on the other end. And that's what is inspiring to me. So you can get started any direction you want. You can take a look at this. Kristen can send you this information separately afterwards, but just taking a glide at it. I like to look at this as my grocery list. When I take all these products, by the way, so there's nothing that in here that I don't do. And I want to share that with you because when I first started, my husband had lost his job. We had no health care insurance. And I thought, holy moly, how am I going to get this for me and my kids? I have 4 children. But I knew because I studied nutrition and I knew if I could keep us healthy, we wouldn't have to rely on going to the doctors. Because going to the doctors for a sick visit was going to be much more expensive than what I was going to be spending on Juice Plus. So for us, I wanted to get everybody on it. So I did. I started with the fruit and vegetable. My kids were able to get it for free because the Juice Plus company does offer for kids age 4 and above. They can get the fruit and vegetable for free. If they're in college and undergrad, they can get it for free too. Juice Plus has a heart. They really want to encourage people to get their families healthier. And I love that. And the best part, if you don't have children, you can sponsor somebody else. Who do you know? A niece, a nephew, or somebody in your community or at your church that you might want to help inspire healthy living because maybe a single mom is struggling and you know that this can make a difference for her child. I love this company with a heart because we can pay it forward to other people in need. So from that, you take a look at, what's going to be the best for you, and based on, what you're already eating, what your budget is, and the more help you need. The more plants that you put in your diet, the more progress you're going to see. And I can tell you, because of the guarantee from those medical research I shared earlier, that's definitely what you're going to see a difference in. So, from that, what I want to share is just letting you all know that, we are here just to inspire. We're here to educate. You get to decide if you want to just check out the free resources. That's fine with me too, and Kristen as well. We really do want to make a difference. So I'm going to stop there and just kind of put it out there if you guys have any questions, because we kind of went through that, in about 24 minutes here. If you do have any questions, I would love to answer anything or something that stood out to you, just let me know.
Margie?
Yes.